Hello, everyone. Welcome to Code with Femi. This is the actual final episode of SQL Crash Course, and I'm so grateful for everyone that is still here with me. Yeah, we're going to be looking at analysis in this actual video. Stay tuned. So, what is actually analysis when we talk about SQL? So basically, there are cases where you've written your SQL code, you're excited, and you want to go live, and for some reason, the actual query starts falling apart, and you're wondering why, what's happening, why is it not, I've tested this and it's working locally, but it's not working as you've expected on the production server. So this is where you have to ensure that you do some analysis, ensure that your query are optimal and highly, they're performing as expected. And so I'm just going to show you in this video how you can actually like do some techniques on how to analyze your actual queries and actually see you know if they are actually optimal. You can also compare it with other queries and actually see which one is actually quite optimal. So I'm just going to switch to the actual IDE screen. And also I just want to go straight to the point here. I don't want to take too much time, because this is actually the final video. I just want to wrap this up. So in here you can see I have three queries. So I've got this query which actually like selects data from address table where person ID is in this actual list, which is either 5 or 6. And then I have another query which is also similar to the one on top, which is basically saying select list from address where person in, and I'm doing another sub query in there to say select person ID from person where ID is greater than 5. So basically I'm doing something similar to what is on top there, or actually let's make it exactly the same thing to say where person ID is equals to 5 or person ID is equals to 6, so that we can actually say it's like it's gonna fetch exactly the same record out. Okay, and then now we have the final one, which I'm saying that I want to select address data from address, and then I'm doing an inner join with person on where person ID is equals to person ID, and then where the person ID is actually in this list. And also this is what we can also do. Let's change that as well to say we specifically want to just check the person ID in the actual address. Okay, so this is actually just an example where we have something like this where we want to just see. Okay, so if I actually these are three different queries, and I can execute them, and you can see for yourself that they're actually going to return exactly the same record, right? Records, you can see here it's the same query is returning the same records, right? Okay, good. So now this is one thing you should actually bear in mind. Okay, the actual queries that I've written here, there is actually an issue. There might be a cost. So this actual query could actually be expensive. I don't know, I'm just saying. And this also might be the one that is expensive, so I need to choose from these three which one am I gonna really use. And how do you actually analyze that to know which of these queries is actually optimal? This is what you do. You actually go on to query, and in there is actually display estimated execution plan. This is actually going to compare the queries you've got here and be able to give you like an information to tell you which one is actually the best one to go with. So let's click on execution plan, and as you can see here, we have the cost here. The query cost here tells me that this is the first one we executed, which was select from. So the first one on top there, you can see it's telling me that it's actually 20%. So compared to the one below, this one is telling me it's gonna be 40%. And then we have the final, which is gonna be 40%. So ideally, what is really telling me is that these two queries are actually quite similar in a way. It doesn't really matter. And also, what you can also do is you can take out the one that is optimal, and then let's run this two and actually compare it. So this is how you actually continue to compare your queries to see which one is really the good one to go with. But if you check here, you can see it's all 50-50. This one is telling me it's gonna be 50%, 50%. So it doesn't really matter which one you take. Either of the two is actually fine. But this actual one is the most optimal one, and this is because of the fact that you're going directly to the address table and you actually just querying this actual field with the specific values that you want to retrieve and from that address table. So this is how you do some analysis where you can actually see what your query is actually doing. You're doing a select. In this case, there's a nested loop, which is actually this, and then in there you can see all the the index scan and all that. So basically, this is how you can actually tell if your query is optimal or not. You can actually use the execution plan. We call it the execution plan to actually analyze, is your query optimal enough? You can compare it with different approaches and actually see which one is actually very good to go with. So this is one way to actually analyze your your actual query to know if it's actually gonna perform the way you're expecting it to perform. Another one I would like to really just share with you guys is the profiling. There's actually one that I really love, which is your SQL Server profiler. And this your SQL Server profiler is something that really helps in terms of when you start developing applications. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but I'm just gonna show you guys some of the things that I'm gonna call this let's call this joins database trace. Okay, and then event selection is where you actually can select what kind of what do you want to analyze, what information do you want to analyze. But for now, I'm just going to keep it as this, right? And then we can also say show all events. In there is just a lot. Let's say for instance you dealing with stored proc, you want to see how optimal your stored proc is and what is happening and everything like that. You can actually start selecting the ones that are applicable, and you can see there's giving you description here to tell you, this actually tells you when a stored proc is completed, indicates when an item is removed from the procedure cache. So you can actually select the ones that are applicable for now, but I'm just going to keep it as it is. But the one I really want to play with, then you have your database name, right? And then in there you can actually say that what is the database name you want to check. We want to check where it joins, right? That is where we want to really focus on. So that's the filter that we need. You can see there's actually highlighted there, and then we can run this. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to see if I can put this side by side, and then what I want to do is I want to clear this so you can see what is going on when I actually execute this. As you can see there, I've actually run this, but now the profiler is telling me, it's showing me what I've actually executed against the DB. And we're gonna actually play with this a lot when we start even dealing with things like doing applications, running link to SQL, running link, and then we can see what is actually interpreted into SQL, because this is where you can actually see what is actually going on with your queries through your application. But this is actually one of the things I really want to show you guys. You can see there that the same query I've written here is what it has shown me here to tell me, okay, this was what was executed against that database called joins. Okay, you can see there, you can see right there. So this was the starting batch. And then if you scroll to the side, it will tell you when it started, it will tell you when it ended. So those are the things that you can actually use for analytics to actually tell what is really happening. Is your query optimal? Is it taking too long? And all of that. So, and also you can see there it tells you the CPU usage and all of that. and this is something I really want to show you guys, and I hope you guys will find this useful when you start, you know, writing robust systems, because this really helped me a lot, especially when I was working with some legacy systems. This really helped me to be able to profile things properly. Yeah, so this actually concludes the actual SQL crash course. I hope you guys were able to, you know, to learn from all of this. And please, you know, share your thoughts with me. Let me know what you guys think. You know, like, try as much as possible to comment, and when you comment as well, you know, please, you know, let's respect one another. Try to, you know, to speak politely, and, you know, pass your message across, you know, in a much more professional way. And then, yeah, I would be willing to engage in that, you know, in that light. So yeah, I will see you in my next video. Keep well and stay safe.